Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 7 of the Essential Aromatica podcast. I am your host, Amy Anthony of NYC Aromatica, bringing aromatherapy experiences to New Yorkers through corporate workshops, or yes, I come to you, and through bespoke sessions where you visit with me, all in a cozy studio in the Gramercy neighborhood. So I thought this was the end, folks. But I'm happy to say this episode brings the podcast in a new direction. Last episode, I shared Yuliana Kireyeva's olfactory sound composition on jasmine. That last episode was a reflection on why I started the episode. And then I honestly was hitting a bit of a dry spot. And I've been in touch since the last episode with Yuliana, since that episode went out into the ether. And I'm thrilled to say that Yuliana has brought me great inspiration. And she's so lovely. I lost my muse for this podcast, meaning my spark left, and I didn't see the podcast moving on. It needed something else. It needed another layer of something. Because honestly, I'm not going to be here just telling you, like, this is good for that and try this. And like, you could go to a book for that or a website. And why do that? So I needed another layer. And I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks. And here is a resurgence. So this is the start of a series. Thank you, Yuliana. A big thanks to her for sharing more of her olfactory sound compositions with me. So again, this starts off a new series on the tail of that lovely jasmine olfactory composition. So guess what? Lavender is about to bloom here. Some of it is already blooming. It's early this year. I feel by at least a week, even by 2 weeks, it seems a little too early. That's been the growing landscape we've had. I've noticed this in 2025. So it is what it is. Interestingly, I was just reminded that the June 7th and 8th is the Governor's Island Lavender Festival. The lavender field is a beautiful, magical, special spot here in New York City on Governor's Island. And I've had the pleasure of collaborating on a lavender distillation with the core team there. A shout out to Sarah and Hollis. I'll be mentioning Hollis again soon. So again, this is the start of a new series where we're going to highlight plants. Like this one's lavender, that's essential oil. And let's get on with the episode. And that part I wrote out. Now it's more just notes. Please know this is also on YouTube. So if you're watching this video, you'll see me wearing headphones and reading stuff. And look forward to hearing Juliana's scent composition with lavender, and also a musical piece that, hearing her composition, I was like, whoa, that really reminds me of something. So there is one time before this that I did share lavender on this podcast, and it was season 1 episode. I don't remember. I didn't even look back. It was early on in the podcast. I'm just going to check this here. I'm pausing. So again, season 1 episode I don't remember. It was called Falling in Love Again with Lavender. And I just found it was interesting timing how I was in touch with Juliana. Lavender is top of mind this time of year because it will be blooming, or some of it already is blooming. So it's interesting to reflect, how can I look at the same thing in different ways? And this is something I've tried to do over the years. You'll see on my website, on the YouTube channel, there's different articles, there's videos on plants. So I have what are called plant talk videos. I have a plant talk video on lavender. You're with me in my yard. I have a class all about the lavenders because one name, there's actually different types or species of lavender: Lavandula latifolia, Lavandula angustifolia, Lavandula dentata. Lavandin, Lavandula hybrida, or hybrid lavender, Lavandula intermedia, yeah, la, la, and many varieties and etc. But you get the point. How can I look at and experience lavender different ways? And we can write poetry about it. We can write songs about it, such as Yuliana composing, like smelling lavender and composing music. So please know that's out there. And this podcast is another way I'm trying to, we'll talk about qualitative stuff now, the qualities of something versus quantifying. And it's great to put lavender under a microscope and get to know it through that way, but there's also the experiential way. And we're all different. We all experience things differently. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're sitting, okay, maybe someone's driving in their car. Maybe someone's doing something else. Like we all experience life differently and perceive things a little differently, which is interesting. It makes things spicy. So I already mentioned this. So getting into the qualitative natures, and that's one reason why Plant Talk started. These videos, the articles, in the articles, you'll see the personality part. You could read all sorts of stuff about lavender, how it grows, its growing conditions. But if you're an aromatherapy person such as me, I'm interested in where does it go in my body? What's the feeling of it? What's the personality? What's the qualities of lavender? And we have the quality of a plant, the qualitative part, the quality of a human being. Like we don't like to be a number, right? We're individuals. The plants are the same way. And it's an interesting way to look at things. And I really love these, there's the word liminal, these spaces, the intersections of the qualitative and the quantitative. And I look back when I was professionally a market researcher and I worked in both the qualitative and quantitative fields, and I see how there's room for both sides. And I love when those two talk to each other. And it's a real juicy, nuanced spot. And it's hard to just pinpoint, which I love. I love the messiness of qualitative qualities of looking at something and experiences. And then there's that numbers, let's quantify, look for patterns part, which is also really fun. I love statistics. I used to love doing that stuff. So again, seeing both sides of qualitative and the quantitative, appreciating both, but not getting caught up in either. However, I'm a bit partial to the qualitative side to try to remind myself of that. And that's why we're featuring Juliana's music and Erik Satie's music today. So just a little, I like tables. So there's my qualitative, quantitative side. So qualitative, one size doesn't fit all. There's that fun part when the qualitative part comes, but there's patterns that set, right? Holistic, you're looking at something holistically, you're looking at the way things might work together, how there's nuance. I have noted here, this is where I like the clinical work, where I like working one-on-one with somebody. One size does not fit all. Even in you're in a corporate workshop, everybody's different. Just because you work for company X doesn't mean what does that say about you, right? Not so much, not a lot. You're wearing X brand of label or something. How do you can be identified by this one lens? Maybe not so much. It's the and, the and, the and. So the quantitative part, not to knock it, it's really useful. It's great for trying to communicate patterns and information. This is what I'm putting in the bucket of this is good for that. Check the box. This constituent does that. You know, linalool's proven to be, let's say, work with pain. Okay, interesting. Linalools and lavender, it's also in other plants. But what about all those other components that show up, including the trace components that come in at 0.01% or less as a trace component? There's these chemicals are there for a reason. Also, the quantitative side, not to knock it, but in this industry, we are obsessed with being seen as legitimate and validated, and that gold standard of the double-blind placebo trial. I'm okay with one-on-one and case studies. I think it's interesting. And that's me. I'm not knocking. There's room for both. and we choose where we want to focus. So, as we start to segue into the qualitative nature of lavender, I have been reflecting upon, and it came up in another podcast, McNeill Whistler's The Great American Painter, but expat, interesting, messy life, beautiful paintings. And ever since I saw his paintings, they're called the Nocturnes. I'm drawn to them. There's something so beautiful for me, serene, calm, vague. The quality, right? It's the quality. And I was reading up on Whistler and, the lawsuit that kind of ruined his reputation. But notoriety is interesting, right? This scholar, I believe scholar Linda Merrill, I have a quote here that as Whistler was making art for art's sake and really bringing the individual into art making, the individual's perception and rendering of something. Linda Merrill wrote that Whistler was attempting to paint the air. So as we think about that, painting the air, smelling the air, how do you represent something? How do you capture something? So we're going to segue into Juliana's composition now. And Juliana has synesthesia, experiencing one sense through another. It's a way of experiencing the world. And this is related to how scent molecules impact all of us. Small molecules where some of the components can bypass the blood-brain barrier, right? It's interesting. What am I putting in my body when I'm smelling something? This is impacting us on many levels. Now, remember the word sentir. To smell is to feel. Where, when you smell lavender or you're with the plant lavender and you can smell it and be with it, where do you feel the qualities of the plant in your body, in your memory? What are its chemical messages of its essential oils to your whole self, but really focusing on the body? Where do you feel music or sound in your body? When you hear Juliana's piece and you're with your lavender, really notice what is happening. Where are you being taken? Are your thoughts going someplace? Are you noticing your body and your body's reaction? How are you influenced by music, by sound, by scent molecules? Sound is sound waves. It's something really physical. Scent is made up of chemicals, molecules. So it's a little bit different. It's a nice way to live life. So get some fresh lavender if you have some. If you have a fresh plant, someone that's outside growing or inside and that's blooming, try to get the flowers. The leaves are aromatic, but not so much. It's a little stem up towards, and you really want the flowers, excuse me. Maybe you have a fuso, a traditional lavender wand. Oh, I should have gotten it to show it on YouTube. So thanks to Hollis, who I mentioned before, Governor's Island. She showed me how to make fusos. I have fond memories every time I see the fusos that I made with her, and then she gave me some that she made. She's an expert. She learned how to make the fuso from an elder in France. And I love seeing every time I see the fusos again, they remind me of Hollis and the time she showed me the secrets of the craft. So thank you, Hollis. Or alternatively, if you have the dry lavender, the fresh lavender plant, get out a good old-fashioned bottle of lavandula angustifolia. I just opened mine. So regardless, get out your lavender plant, have it. And what I'm going to do now is pull up Juliana's sound piece, okay? So we're just going to pause. All right, so here we are with Juliana's lavender. And be sure to get out your oil, smell it, crush the dried flowers, the fresh plant. And remember, to smell is to feel. And in this synesthesia, that because smelling and feeling is kind of synesthesia when you think about it. But when you're smelling, what are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Here we go. Wow. So I'm going to close that. Thank you, Yuliana. So it's be interesting what that was like for you, what you were feeling. When I finally settled in with the essential oil on the scent strip, I was really floating away, and I felt the tension leave my body, but especially just the jawline, just poof, just goodbye, and the floating quality. So let's move on to the next piece. Next piece, hearing Juliana's composition, I was immediately taken thinking in line of Whistler and his nocturne paintings, the Erik Satie's music. And I'm help me, go, I can I say this correctly? The Gymnopédie #1. And I'm going to play this and hope the audio is okay. And I'd like to take you through a body scan as you're smelling the oil, as this Gymnopédie music is in the background, and really connecting with lavender. Where is it going in your body? Where is it taking you with your mind, your emotions? What's the temperature like? What's happening? And just notice this. Let it come to you, let it wash over you, and see what happens. Or forget see, feel what happens. So I'm going to take you to the music, and I'm going to take you through a body scan. We'll see how long this lasts. The piece is about 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So let's see what happens, or feel what happens, okay? So settle in, smell lavender. And what's happening? Close your eyes. Notice the air, surrounding air on your body, your face, your hands. Maybe you're sitting down. Maybe you're laying down. Keep smelling the oil, the plant. Close your eyes and notice the top of your head. Go down to between your eyes, your eyebrows, and go to the ears, the tops of your ears, and the back of your skull. What's happening there? And from the back of your skull, down the nape of your neck, going to your throat. Notice any tension, any sensations, going up to your mouth, your jaw. And let go. And go back down to your throat, out to the shoulders, your elbows, each side, your wrists, your hands. Maybe gently move your fingers. And what are you feeling? Your clothes, the air. And as a touching point, go back to your throat. And go into your chest. Your heart. Your diaphragm. Your stomach. The pelvic bowl. Your pelvic bowl. Down your quads, the front of your legs, and the back of your legs, and the back of your knees. Notice your calves, your shins, your feet, your toes. Breathe. Well, thank you. That was Erik Satie, Gymnopédie, #1. And I'm going to say goodbye now. To smell is to feel. The qualities of lavender. There's a plant talk video on my website. It's also on the YouTube channel. Falling in love with lavender again. There's lots to learn about lavender, but again, what was this experience like for you? So thanks for spending time with me. A special thanks again to Yuliana Kireyeva. You can find her on Instagram. Her handle is Olfactory Sounds. Until the next time we meet, subscribe to the Essential Aromatica podcast on your preferred platform. And please leave a review and share with others who may be interested in things like that just happened right now in the past couple minutes. So signing off from Lower Manhattan, next to the One World Trade Center. Ciao for now.